Hello everyone and welcome to the streets of Shenzhen. Today we're just going to touch on the topic, just the pure scale that things are done here and the scale of how big the cities are and just how upscaled everything is here in China. Like, I have been living here for more than 5 years and it still just boggles my mind about how big China really is. How big everything is done here. Like, for example, if you look at a big city like Shanghai, there's 30 million people, for example. So to put it in perspective for you, New York's population is like 8.8 million people. London also has 8.8 million people. Hell, even the whole of the UK, their population is 60 million people. So just in Shanghai alone, it's already half of the population of the whole UK. Like, think about a smaller city where I live, like in Kunming. There's only 8.4 million people. Well, I say only, but compared to a big city like Shanghai, it is crazy. Like, seriously, I am mind blown every time I visit a new city, and I just want to share with you all today, especially for those of you who haven't been to China. You really don't get how big, how huge every single city is here in China. Like, seriously, I come from a small town in South Africa. There's like 20,000 people in my town. So even for me that time, going to a bigger city in South Africa like Johannesburg or Cape Town, I was like, wow, how amazing is this? And I was like going crazy. But then after high school, me going to big cities like the US or even London, oh wow, can you just imagine? I was like living the dream. I literally felt like I was in a movie, that this was not real. I was so shocked. But oh, how I just laugh at myself now. Because coming to China, can you imagine you thinking London or New York is like, wow, so amazing. And then you come to even a small city like Kunming, not even Shanghai, Beijing, or now where we're walking in Shenzhen. It is ridiculous, actually. Like, if we look at the metro, look at this map of the metro in Shanghai. Look at how many lines there are. There are 20 different lines. People, 20 different lines that you need to take or can use on the Shanghai Metro. It takes you like 2 hours on a metro that goes fast, speedy, right? From one side of the city to the other. I know we're walking around in Shenzhen, but I'm trying to just explain to you the big city like Shanghai. And then you get a city like Shenzhen where we are walking around now. Look at the buildings you see while we're walking through here. The thing I think a lot of people, even who live in China, they don't know that the underground space that the Chinese people are using. I mean, malls that goes miles and miles underground. And you know what? The Chinese people aren't even fazed about something like this. Like, above ground, how huge is China, right? The infrastructure. We keep on talking about how big the scaling is, how big everything is here, all the people. But then they don't just use what's above ground. They also use all the space that there is to use underground. And these Chinese people, they just keep on building. Like, in Shanghai, you take like an elevator at a metro station to go down. Even in a city like Shenzhen, you can also do that. But in Shanghai, you go deeper. You go on an elevator, then you go down for like 2 or 3 floors. That's like 30 meters at least that you're going underground to use a metro. It is scary to think, firstly, that we are using stuff like this. But it's even more scary to know that we're underground and all this pressure is above us. How much the Chinese people had to dig, the big amounts of earth that they had to dig up. Where that earth went, I don't know. But yes, it just keeps on getting crazier and crazier. But the thing is, millions of people use it here in China. Why? Because it is so cheap. I just made a video about the metro stations systems here in China. I'm gonna put the link down in my description. Go check it out. But it's like 6 RMB at the most. That's not even $1 to get from one side of the city to the other. It's like a spiral effect. Millions of people use it because it's cheap. Because it's cheap, millions of people are using it. And it's not just cheap, it is convenient, it is fancy, it is clean. So people like to use it. It makes their everyday life more and more convenient. Can you imagine a country like China with a population of 1.4 billion people and they have no metro systems? I mean, Beijing with a population of 22 million, Shanghai 30 million, Shenzhen, where we are walking around, 13.5 million, Guangzhou 14.5 million. Jeez, even a city like Kunming. I won't even want to know how all these people would be if there was no metro system. The roads, it just changes everything. Think about the prices of stuff. A lot of the haters, even a lot of people who like China, they have so much to say about the Chinese government. But one thing you cannot argue is they make it so cheap, so convenient for the citizens of their country to use the things. They make it so convenient to build a metro system because it makes the lives of the Chinese people easier. Not just metro systems, right? The buses in China, the shared e-bikes, Didis, everything that makes everyday life easier. The Chinese government has no problem spending money on those kind of things. That is why China, the population here just keeps on growing. People love China. People want to come to China because it's not just a clean, good country, safe country, but it's also convenient. Like for the Chinese people who are watching, you guys don't get it because you grew up here. So you don't know. For us coming from countries like the UK, from South Africa, from anywhere in Africa, from America, that we do not know stuff like this. There, in South Africa, in America, when something is broken, there people just do a quick fix. They build something and then in 5 years it just breaks down again because they didn't plan it nicely. They just went for the quick fix. Where that is the difference with China. They think long term, how it improves the life of a Chinese citizens. And Chinese people are not phased. They don't think even about how much money it costs. Like if I make a video and I posted it on YouTube about how much it costs to build roads, to build infrastructures, my dad, for example, they go crazy. They cannot believe it. But Chinese people, they're just like, oh yeah. Because that is just what they do. They spend money because it's not about the spending of money. It's about the improvement of life, the convenience of life to live in this country. Like, think about the huge intersections. I think a lot of you have seen it on Google, maybe on Instagram. Look at this intersection. How the roads intertwine because so many people use it. So the Chinese government does not focus on the debt or the money that they are spending. I mean, a country like China with 1.4 billion people, right? It's just upscaled by 10 times, if not more. Like here in China, if you have ever been to China, don't be fooled. If you go on the map and you try to put in a location and you're like, oh, that's close. And then you zoom in and it's actually like a 40-minute ride because the cities are so huge here. Like that is only when you will start to realize the scale that China is really on. Like think about COVID, right? COVID was crazy in China. The Chinese had to supply masks for 1.4 billion people here and then also to the rest of the world. Like the factories here, it is just on a different level. That is why everything is made in China. Because the speed that these people are working at and they bring you quality stuff. That's why a lot of the companies, a lot of the factories in China, they don't even look towards an international market. They don't need to because they get more than enough revenue from the Chinese people alone. Like Anta. It's everywhere here in China. Anta is like the Nike of China, you know? It is just on a different scale. Like a lot of people outside have never heard about a lot of companies in China because the Chinese people have no need to take their companies to the international market because they make enough money. Like I keep on thinking, if I can just make something, an app or a game or something, and just 5%, like for the game, right? Each person just pays me like $1 and I can just have 5% of the Chinese population use it or buy it. I would be a millionaire. I could retire real soon. That is the craziness of this. Like if you go on Amazon and you read the reviews, maybe a lot of the products and a lot of the stuff, there'll be like 30,000 reviews, right? In China, you go on an app like Taobao or wherever, it's like 30 million reviews. Think about it, 30,000 versus 30 million reviews, and that can just tell you how many people are using stuff here. Like it just motivates me that I can be so much more than a teacher in China and I can use what I have and just sell to like 5% of the population and I can just retire comfortably. But I'm just babbling on here. But my point is, it is very difficult to comprehend the scale of the population in China, the manufacturing, the infrastructure, really just everything going on in China. And as we walk through a big city like Shenzhen, I just wanted to share with you and hope that you get to experience one day coming to China, experiencing the big, the huge, because you will not see it anywhere else in the world. If you did understand a little bit or comprehend a little bit, let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Lychee family. And stay tuned. Hit that notification bell because some amazing videos are on their way. I'll see you in the next video, everyone. Bye.